Okay. Good morning, my name is Tony. I'm an addict.
Hi, Tony.
And it's been a great time so far here in Philadelphia. I see a lot of my friends. It makes me feel good, but I don't know everybody in the room, but I know everybody. I know why you're here. Again, my name is Tony, and I'm an addict, and I spend my life using drugs. All right. And many, many years went by before I learned, by coming to NA, that I didn't have to use it, and I didn't have to be afraid not to use it, you know. And actually, the things that ordinarily used to baffle me are things that I'm able to deal with today, because I built up a confidence in relationship to my drug addiction or alcoholism or whatever brand of insanity anyone cares to choose. And actually, I fell prey to most of them. And this led me to do things that I didn't want to do, and it took me to places I didn't want to go, and it made me feel bad. And I relate my drug addiction to bad feelings all around. Feelings of being ashamed, and feelings of being frustrated, and feelings of anxiety and disgust, and degrading myself also. I don't feel that way this morning. I'm bright-eyed and bush-tailed here today, ladies and gentlemen. No, I don't feel that way today. I haven't felt that way in a long time. I met my friend Terry there. I see him, and I feel good, because when I first walked into an NA meeting, he extended his hand out and he said, "I've been there too." And I looked at him, and he looked like he'd been there too. So I couldn't bullshit myself. The guy looked like he'd been all in these places that he said he'd been. And I believed him. And he told me he was clean. And all my life, nobody ever told me that. When I would get in trouble and get locked up and do the things that drug addicts do, I'd come out and I'd meet my friends and they'd say, "Let's do it again. Or, I got a good thing, and come on with it." And I have to show that I had enough guts, so I went along with it, and half the time I was scared to death. And I relate being afraid to drug addiction, racing fear, and all of these feelings of fear. And I experienced them for many, many years. I don't feel that way. When I walked into an NA meeting, I noticed the absence of hostility and animosity toward each other. And this really turned my head. And being a guy that's been down for so long and didn't know what up was like, or being in the dark and didn't know what the light was about, this was a revelation to me. And it is always a privilege to address a group of Narcotics Anonymous, because I know what your people are about, and I respect you, and I love you. And you're my family, and I mean that. And I have a good family, too. Real family. But I never had the feeling of belonging in my life, you know? Somebody said it. He said he'd been up to the mountaintop. He looked over and saw the promised land. I can say it today. Through Narcotics Anonymous, I've been in Nutley, New Jersey. And I feel good about the fact that I don't have to use it. I feel good about the fact that I don't have to go and sell my soul to the cop man, or buy reefers, or take pills to feel like a human being. And for a guy like me, this is saying something, you see, because I had to mask everything. I was afraid of women, and I was afraid of competing, and I was afraid of myself, and afraid of what people were going to say, and I had all this going on. And I used to fantasize being somebody else, and I was always on the outside looking in, I don't know. And finally, I walked into a meeting and I felt like I belonged, you know, for the first time in my life. And it's because of you people, you know, and it's because of you people that were here before. It was because of you people that said you can stop using drugs. You don't have to live your life, you know, smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. That's what I call it. You don't have to do that. You know, the first thing I told Terry, "Will you tell me what the hell I've been doing for 25 years if I don't have to do it?" He says, "All you got to do is keep coming." And I looked around at the people in the place, and it looked like the yard in Greenhaven. You know, some penitentiary. The people looked uptight. As a matter of fact, I gave a guy a lift that day, and he told me to drop me off at the Salvation Army. The guy went into the Salvation Army, you know. And I said to myself, the man was really, you know, hurting. But he's clean today, because he kept coming. And as a result, we all felt better. And as a result, we all began to know each other and like each other and then love each other. And this is what it's all about. And be very serious about overcoming getting loaded a day at a time. I never believed I could do it, you see. I never believed I could live my life and feel good and have people say they like me, okay, without taking a fix or drinking. I was telling her, I didn't know, I thought it was okay to drink a pint of scotch in the morning. Everybody would be having bacon and eggs, and I'd pour myself a couple of doubles and take a few V's, and I was off and running to the races. You know, of course I forgot where I put my keys, but that's something else, and my wallet, and where I lived, and my clothes, you know. But I'm here today, and I'm grateful to be fully clothed and in my right mind, or partially restored to sanity. And I believe it. I believe when somebody comes up and tells me I stopped using and I got a year. I look to it. I respect it. Because this is what it's all about. And all the detox facilities and the counseling sessions and the penologists and the criminologists and the sociologists, all these people, the professional people, they're wonderful, you know. But it didn't work for me. You know, psychiatry wasn't the answer, because I went to a psychiatrist and he made me out to be, I walked in and I told him I was leading a bizarre life, and he said to me, I told him some of the things I was doing, and he said to me, yes, you are. You might have a mental problem. Well, I got uptight when he said that. He spoke about, I told him, why do I do this? Why do I keep going back out there using it? Why do I have to do this? Why can't I be normal? Whatever that is, you know. Like these people that stay home and watch TV, Johnny Carson's circuit, where they could stay home and, you know, make themselves a sandwich, sit in front of the television. I couldn't do that. My television was being sold every other week. I sold the damn set so many times the knobs fell off the set. The man didn't want to buy it anymore. Why can't I be like these other people? I told myself from the beginning, because I knew after 6 months I was in trouble with it. You know, the first time I looked at my friend John and I said, "Have you got $1.50?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." And in 6 months we were spending a couple $100 each and robbing everything. And John's not here today. He's in Attica. Hopefully he'll get to a meeting. You know, but by the grace of God, I found a way to stop using. I found a way to belong. I found a fellowship, and I'll call it a fellowship because I've been in a lot of programs, you know, designed to rehabilitate the addictive personality. And I've had all these things done to me, and all this exposure, you know, the shaved head and, you know, the signs and the little toothbrushes, paint in the garbage bins, and all that sick stuff that I went for. You know, if you do this, you'll be able to live your life without drugs. If you do this, you'll be able to feel. If you do this, you'll be able to conduct a relationship. And I believed it when they told me, you know. I believed when they tried to separate my soul from my body. A Baptist minister tried to do that to me one time. And I believed he could do it. And I believed, he said the demons in me were making me do this. Well, I stepped off the lawn and took a shot and said, oh my God. Later for that. And I tried acupuncture, and I tried all these things, putting little pins in your ears. When you get the urge, you just like that with the pin. That's supposed to go away. Well, it didn't go away, you know. I looked like a little Martian, something funny. I looked in the mirror, and I looked like an idiot. I thought I looked like an idiot. And they asked me in these places, a guy like me with, well, my self-esteem wasn't soaring at the time. We'll put it that way. And they tell me, what do you think about yourself? How do you feel about yourself? What word comes to mind when you describe yourself, Tony? What word comes to mind? How about lizard or some reptilian type of thing? How about that? You know, that's how I used to think about myself. Like something that crawled, something that hated what was in its skin, something that kept being a leeching a parasite on people around me, everybody that came close to me if they had something, because I had this outrageous need for finances to get loaded. That was my problem. People ask me, what's your problem? I said, I'm a heroin addict. And people used to call me junkie. And it used to reinforce the bad feelings I had about myself. I don't feel that way today. I haven't felt that way in a long time. I feel good by virtue of the fact that I don't have to use drugs. I feel good that I belong to a fellowship that's beautiful, with people with the guts to do it, people that show me that I can do it, people that give me a new life by the grace of God. I believe that too. that it was God that led me into this meeting to meet this man here who extended his hand. And I'll never forget that as long as I live, you see. Because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't that. Because I wanted to die. I didn't want to live another minute. I said later for this life. You know, I was doing it when I was 20, and I was doing it when I was 40, and I felt terrible about doing it all those years. And all I wanted to do was stay home and watch television. And people could say, wow, what a goal. But I could never do it. I could never go to a ball game. You see? People talk about basketball. I never played. You know? I never went to the prom. I got kicked out of the glee club. Talk about having a plex. Sure, I had a plex about myself. Sure, I felt bad all that time, you know, because of my disease. They never told me I had a disease in Synanon House, or Candy Top Village, or Day Flop, or Flip Flop, or Chocolate Chip, or whatever other name they could think up, you know? And they think up some doozies of names. Where you going? I'm going to Peppermint House. What are you going to do there? I'm going to eat peppermints. If I eat enough peppermints, I'll stop using drugs. Maybe I might get my head shaved, but that's all right. That's par for the cause. You know, I went for that. I went for the line, you know. And then we went right into methadone maintenance treatment. Well, it took me about 5 years to recover from the treatment. And that's no bullshit. So they put me on 100 milligrams of methadone, 150 the first 3 years. And I was asleep. They put me asleep. And I couldn't take a shit. And I didn't know why. And I went up to the clinic. And we used to sit down. When was the last time you went to the bathroom? I don't know, about a month ago. How about you? I think it's thrown off my food cycle. It's not the methadone. How's your sex life? What? What was that? What are you talking about? What's going on? Let me get my vacation dose. Do it up. Ha ha. Vacation time. It was always vacation time at the clinic. You know? Most of the people in the clinic didn't make it. The ones that are still alive are still being maintained. By the grace of God, I got off it. It was the most significant thing I ever did in my life. I never felt more enslaved. Even using heroin, I was freer. Now we talk about freedom. I've never experienced the freedom that I do today. I can do anything I want. I got friends all over. I like it. I wouldn't give it up for all the tea in China, I'll be honest with you. You know? And it's because people like yourselves, people in Philadelphia, people in Jersey, people in Virginia, people that you see, you meet, and you say to yourself, they're still doing it. I know it works when I see you. And it reinforces the feelings I have about it, about myself, that I can still do it. And I know it pays good dividends because I see a lot of my friends making it, you know. I see them happy for the first time in my life. And I'm talking about people like us, you know. And happiness was an elusive word, never knew what it meant. Was never happy, you know. Could never have an afternoon off. Was always working overtime on my habit, keeping my habit going, you see. I'm not about that today, you know. I'm into recovery. I'm working the steps to the best of my ability. I'm not doing it perfect, but it's good enough for me today, you know. It brought me here today. It brought me friends like this man here, you see. And this is what made it work for a guy like me, because I wouldn't listen to anybody, because I was oriented, drug-oriented, program-oriented about these places that you go where they help you stop using. That's what I want to zero in on. Not so much, we all know what we did to secure drugs and money to buy drugs. But I think about my addiction in relationship to what the things that I did to stop using it. You know? I wonder if I can get a drink of water. Can I get a drink of water? Please. People tell me, why are you so enthusiastic about it? I can't be more enthusiastic about it. I wouldn't be here today. Thank you very much. I get carried away. You know why? Because I feel good. I get carried away when I see somebody come in and I know the man suffered or the girl suffered, and they come in and they sit down and they get the message. It makes me feel good. Makes me feel that what we're doing just by being clean is worthwhile. Just by recovering is worthwhile. Because some other people could be afforded a new life. And I'm talking about a new life. I'm not talking about becoming a brain surgeon or a paleontologist. That might never happen at this stage of the game. But that's all right. You know, I'm talking about being able to go out there and feel good and have money in your pocket and get yourself a nice somebody you can live your life with and be part of something unique and beautiful and feel what you're doing is right. And when you make a decision, it's right most of the time. If you don't make it, you get advice from people around you. Of course, if you make it, forget about it. It's not going to be right. It's going to be wrong. It's going to be exaggerated. You're going to blow it out of proportion. You're going to drive yourself half crazy. You know, with fear, as you look into the future and project fear. You know, that happened to me. I was late. I had myself losing my job and in a room downtown in the Pickwick Hotel. You know, going like this. Oh, shit. Anytime the guy came in, he came late, stay late. Oh, beautiful. I did all that. So I know what kind of person I am, somewhat. And I have people next to me that I can lean on when I feel bad. Okay. And that's what this is all about. And that's why we come to conventions. And I see people with Danny working on conventions. And I know what he's doing. And I love him for it. If he wasn't doing it, I wouldn't love it. I would love him anyway. But I know what he's doing. I know where his head is at. I never had this before. I never experienced any type of good feelings before. So I can't be more enthusiastic about what I'm doing. About being able to feel. About being able to conduct myself like a man, like a human being, for the first time in my life. And you want to know something? There's something I failed to mention. Fun! I'm having fun, too. I used to have to smoke reefers to listen to the music. You know, it was Neil Young, Down a Lonely Highway. Yeah, that's me, man, yeah. You know, and then shoot dope. You know, well, I don't need any girls, man, I'm all right, you know. Have a few doubles and feel good inside, you know, all warm inside. Of course, forget where the hell I was going and what I was doing. You know, did I have a good time? I don't know. Had to ask somebody, you see. Now we turn the music on and everybody dances, nobody's loaded, and everybody has a great time. Now we go all over the place and everybody has a good time. And there's nobody talking about each other, you know. Anybody with anything going, that is. Talking about each other, slinging shit at each other. Because that's so easy for the people in the sidelines to get up there and start running the shit about the guys that are doing something. You know, or the gals that are doing something. And another thing dawned on me, you know. Women are people too. And we have the most beautiful women in the world right in this fellowship. And I believe that. I didn't know that before. You know. A couple of hits of acid, a few hits of mesc. I made sure I didn't get it on my teeth because somebody told me it would rot my enamel out. So I didn't do that. See? And I was off and running. I was on a roof, you know, freeing the damsel in distress. Pulled my cutlass out and there I was, D'Artagnan. You know? I needed all these things to be everybody else but who I really was. Just a guy who picked up a shot when he was 15 years old and took me on a trip 25 years and exposed me to all this insanity. I became a phase 3 patient. I can say that today. I was re-entering. I re-entered society, you know, and I was beamed down to Fox Street. And I said, Scotty, beam me up. I'm in trouble, Scotty, beam me up. Where is Dr. Spock? I've been looking for Dr. Spock all my life. I walked into a Narcotics Anonymous meeting in the Bronx, and I didn't need Dr. Spock. And I don't want to be normal like the rest of them out there today. I got no eyes for that. I want to be right here. I feel good when somebody, Bob told me, come on up here and speak, give me an opportunity to get to know more people, you know. Not to be, you know, something else, to be a person, you know, to feel good. And that's what it's about. And for a guy that felt bad all his life, I never had anything, lost everything, the whole story. Well, I lost my car, I lost my wife, I lost my daughter, I lost my dog, I lost my robe, I lost my books, I lost my stamps. Take my rubies and take my pearls. Take my camels and take my girls. Give me a bag. You know. Take my jacket. Take this. Take my spare tire. I don't need it. You know. Happiness was a Big Mac. You know. I'm not about that today. I know what happens to people that go out there and use drugs. I know the life they lead. I put in a lot of time. I researched it extensively. You know, we got into the psychedelic drugs. You know what I mean? We did all that and wondered what the hell we were doing and if it would ever end and if we would ever get to the point where we could lead a life and feel good, you know, and be able to stay home and be able to be in love and be able to love and be able to spend money and be able to treat your family well and be able to treat yourself okay and be able to feel good about yourself some of the time. I'm talking about NA. I'm talking about Narcotics Anonymous. Because I've been to those other places and didn't help me out one bit. And I wanted to be helped. As I looked in the mirror and I didn't have any hair on my head and I was a young kid and didn't know what was going on and just tired of going to jail, you know, tired of getting out there, afraid to be out there because I knew when I went out there I was going to get locked up again, didn't want to go to penitentiary for the next X amount of years, you know. And I came in and I experienced total freedom. And they talk about the obsession being lifted. And I didn't believe it because I wanted to get high. And after a while it turned from wanting to get high to not wanting to get high, you know, to wanting to go to the meetings, to wanting to see my friends, to wanting to be a member of this fellowship, you know, to wanting to recover. And what was I asking for that we weren't all asking for from Jump Street? To be able to go to the ball game, to be able not to be embarrassed or ashamed, to be able to have your wife or your loved one next to you and enjoy your life and not have to leave and sell yourself to the junk man, not have to give it up entirely, to walk in and see your friends and not have to be afraid of what you're going to say or what they're going to say about you. I'm talking about no fear. I'm talking about later for the disease today. I'm talking about the grace of God, who afforded me the opportunity to be here today to talk to you people about it, about how it felt, having the cuffs on you, being dragged off, wondering. So let me cuff this lame to the steam while we go out and have lunch. When we come back, we'll lock him up. Beautiful. And there I was, cuffed to the steam, dreaming about, you know, having a life. When I get out, I'm not going to do it again, you know. So I was released on 3rd Street. 3rd Avenue. Walked up to 14th Street and got busted. Was out 45 minutes and went back. They didn't even know I was gone. They told me, how was it out there? I don't know. Were the leaves green? I didn't see no trees. Well, what happened? I got 6 months. Oh, shit. What'd you do? I stole a raincoat. Big shot. Yeah, we pulled the big ones. We thought we were gangsters. We'd sell our guns. And go back, what happened to your gun? I sold it for a half load. Beautiful. Read Lucky Luciano, chapter 3. How it works. It's not going to work for you doing that. So I couldn't be that. And I couldn't be a working man. And I couldn't be an athlete. Because I didn't know how to play ball. Because I spent my life on Fox Street in my teenage years. You know, when everybody was listening to oldies but goodies. You know, I was down there in a basement with a candle, wondering where I was going to get another $50 to do it again. Because I had to do it again. And I did it again for another 20 years. Never got no relief. Walked in and met him. My man Terry took his hand out and says, here, I understand where you've been. I know how you feel, because I was completely crazy, I can tell you. Don't tell him, don't tell him. Because I didn't want to go on, you see. I wanted to blow my brains out and have a, you know, and have a Marvin Gaye singing I Heard It Through the Grapevine as they carried me out. You see. Then cremated me and my ashes would have been spread over there on the Hudson River somewhere. And that would have been the end of it. That was the way I was going to go out, you see. I don't feel that way. I don't want to go out nowhere. I want to be right here. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you people on the next one. And this one's not even over yet. And I'm having a grand time, you see. And it's because of you people. It's because of the 12 steps. It's because of the traditions. It's because of a willingness that I had to finally live life on life's terms, to feel to feel. And I feel good. I feel good every day I don't pick it up. You know? And that's what it was all about for me. I didn't come in to get into a paint plate situation or, you know, all this other business, because I got to admit they're not tripping over themselves trying to get to me. You know, but that's all right. You know, I came in here because the cocaine had me completely obsessed. I thought the CIA was after me. They didn't even know I was alive. I walked out. I thought everybody was whispering about me. They didn't even know I was there. I walked in the room. I had to lean up against the wall because I had to watch everybody. I used to carry a gun. Everybody used to come in the room, knock on the door, and say, "Wow, what a nice gun. What a beautiful gun you got there, huh?" It was sinister and deadly. I hated it. You know, I wanted to kill myself with it. That's when I got rid of it. A couple of days before I came to my first NA meeting and found a way to live my life without using drugs, you know? And all of a sudden it dawned on me that I could do it. It dawned on me that there might be some hope for me too, not only everybody else, me. Some light at the end of the tunnel. And I started crying because I finally come to the conclusion that I didn't have to be that type of a person anymore. I didn't have to be driven by the need. I didn't have to be enslaved by my addiction. I found freedom. And I couldn't buy all that. With all the money that I stole, I could never buy that. I couldn't buy the good feelings that I get, you know. And I'm aware of them because I'm in my right mind. I'm aware of what's happening around me. And I'm trying to make myself a better person, you know, because I know I'm on to something. And I know it pays big dividends for people like us. Yes, I still may, well, I don't have, I come in with low self-esteem, no self-esteem. Now I have low self-esteem. But that's a start, you know, really. Feeling good about yourself is one of my hang-ups, you know. And then, of course, when I start thinking, then I'm in trouble. But fortunately, I have friends around me that seem to think a little clearer than I do, you know. And I talk to them, and they give me some suggestions. And I take the suggestions, you know, because I don't want to lose. I lost all my life. And it was always, I should have, I could have, I would have. If I only could have, I should have, I would have. If I was only there in the right place at the right time, in the wrong place at the wrong time. So what happened when you were in the wrong place at the wrong time? Had no bearing that you had your hand in the cash register. That had nothing to do with it. That man came out at the wrong time and saw you there as they dragged you out, ranting and raving, and took you off to the lunatic asylum. Mental observation. And I believed that, you see, because I kept going out doing the same thing. I feel good today. I feel good because I'm a member of Narcotics Anonymous. I wouldn't give up my membership for all the tea in China, all the angel dust, all that other bullshit. Or the Pakistani black you smoke. Oh, good, great. Give me some more. Give me some more. Here's all my money. Give me some. Give me some. Me. I feel bad. I feel bad. All of that. If anything, it afforded me an opportunity to get out of myself. My raggedy ass. You know, and start looking at some other people that were suffering more than I did, that had a story worse than mine. To sit down and say, look, you can do it. And maybe at the time I didn't believe I could do it either, but I was going on blind faith. And I had friends that told me you can do it. And somebody told me, whatever you do, don't pick it up. Okay. And I went for it. And it brought me here today. And I can't be more grateful to be here, to be a member. And it's always a privilege to address a group such as yourselves. Us, we, ours, together. Because we are, you know, together, stronger than any one of us are individually. And the unity that ties us is much stronger than the unity that tries to tear us apart. Because we're good people, you know, basically, and we deserve the best. And I love you. And I mean it. And I'm with you. I called up a friend of mine and he told me, I told him I feel bad. And he said, where are you? And he come pick me up. I love him, you know, and I love you. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Tony again. Does anyone ever think of a drug or a drink or a problem, or would like to share something? You can come up to the podium and share it. Chicken, huh? Okay.
I mean, I'm cross-addicted. My name is Mike. I don't know where to begin. This is my first NA meeting. I started out with AA.
Welcome.
Thank you. I've never been at war, but in a way I have, I guess, in my addiction, I suppose. And it was like coming out of the foxhole, listening to them talk. I'm as nervous as shit, you know, but I'm dealing with it. I'm trying to anyway. The thing that got me up here is Tony, basically, in a way. I mean, his speech is definitely inspirational. I don't even know the man, but I hugged him. Because it brought me out of that fucking shell. I don't know if it's permissible to curse or not, if you're recording it. I've been playing games, and I'm playing games here at the hotel and everything, and I'm playing games with my life, man, and I'm sick, you know? I got out of Sing Sing in '79, and it helped being there. It actually helped me. That's hard to say. So I escaped from New York and moved to Wilmington. And I took my woman and the 2 kids, and I treated her like crap for 2 years. Because when I got out of the joint, I felt it was the only thing to do, being that I'd done the 2 years, and then 2.5 years. I was given 7 years total. And she didn't come to see me once a month. And this would maintain the relationship. Now, I heard they raided downtown Manhattan, and, you know, she's a dope fiend and stuff, and I'm worried about it because I still love her. But I've never faced my problems. And ever since I was a kid growing up, I remember, like, the first time I drank was, like, 6 years old, and everybody said, that's all right, it's all right, and the room was spinning, and that was all right, too, you know. And then when I did Tumanols when I was about 12 years old, when I was going up to the Pavilion, that's the World's Fair, and that's in Queens and Flushing in New York. And, I mean, it's a constant fair, even waking up in the hotel room, you know, saying, God, come on, man, cut me a break, please, you know. They told me in AA not to get involved. I don't even love myself, yet I love this woman to sacrifice myself and screw up my life again. I'm glad I did. It hurts like a son of a gun, but I'm dealing with it. I go to a psychiatrist, and like Tony said, I could relate to that, man. Give me some more drugs, you know. I told him I felt like ended it all. And I said, what do I do about it or whatever? And it was like sedation. We'll sedate him, you know. And like a fool, I turned around and said, I really must have mental problems. So I signed myself in a loony bin for 1 day. Now, that's hard to say, man. That's really hard to say. And I signed myself in there. I said, what the hell am I doing with my life, man? I was so scared, you know? And I'm still scared because I won't face my problems. And I'll try to make everybody different than me. Hey, you're different than me, you know? You're different than me. You're different than me. This is a tribute to give me antisocial behavior. Now, there's nothing fucking wrong with that, you know, when you get screwed around a lot in life. And every time I was getting addicted and I was doing fine, I want to be like my buddy Joe. We hung out for 12 years. I want to shoot dope all the time, too. You know, I want to go to methadone clinics on, at Mount Sinai Hospital or whatever, just to be like him, to get involved with something. And I couldn't, because I had them fears, well, if I do too much dope, this and that. Well, they solved the problem in '76. You know, I'm walking up the street and the cop comes up to me and I got heroin in my pocket, you know. And I was just getting a nice chippy. I was becoming a heroin addict. I was becoming somebody, you know. Man, that was great, you know. To me it was great because Joe looked so involved. He looked like he didn't have the problems I had. You know, and I says, I got to do something and become somebody and do something. And then the cop busts me and says I did an armed robbery or something, and I didn't do it. But I went away and I had a little tiny bit of a withdrawal from it and got over it. And the same thing in Florida, in Dade County. I was doing speed in the street, and I had a home. I had a mother who loved me, but I couldn't accept her the way she was, and she couldn't accept me the way I was. And it's constant excuses, and I'm here doing the same damn thing, you know? And my life's on the line, and I better start caring about it, because I had some kind of spiritual inspiration which made me realize there's something beyond this bullshit, you know? And if I could just live for that, if I don't want to live for myself. And it just eats at me sometimes. And I'm always looking for an excuse and for a way out. And there ain't no damn mental problems in the world that can't be solved inside yourself. And I know that. And I'm creating my own fears, and I'm creating all this other bull crap, and I'm going by where they sell beer, I'm going by stores thinking, well, if I drink, it'll go away, and then whatever, you know, and then if I do this, and I could go over to 3rd and Clayton, because I found a place in Wilmington where I'm hiding temporarily. And I could do all these things. I could get high and just forget about it, man. This is a bunch of bull crap, and this and that and the other thing. And it's my first NA meeting, and it's done. I'm not knocking AA, but it's done a little bit more than AA's done.